Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today in the review room we're going to take a look at Abraham Ford from the Color Top series by McFarlane Toys. Now, this is the, seventh figure in the line, and so far he is the most recent figure to have been released in this Color Tops wave, and I believe he's the last figure to come in the red wave. This Color Top series is going to go by different color tops that hold 8 different figures. Not all 8 are going to be from The Walking Dead. There's multiple different franchises. So we took a look at the other figures: Rick Michonne, Madison from Fear the Walking Dead, Travis from Fear the Walking Dead, and Daryl. We took a look at those in a previous video, actually 6 different videos. We went over some overall thoughts and opinions, so I'm not going to repeat myself, or at least I'm going to try not to when it comes to the box and how I think the boxes for the Color Top series are pretty plain and dull. But with that said, if you want to check out the other videos, I'm going to leave a link in the video description, plus also the eye up here. No matter what you're using to watch this, you can pretty much click that eye. And I got Daryl here because of the rocket launcher, so let's jump straight into this with the box. We have an image of Michael Cutlets as Abraham Ford from The Walking Dead down there. Same style box and everything, same designs as the ones that came before it. The back, it has the most articulated figure so far in the same exact pose for every image. Anyway, then you have the name down here, so if you are collecting these figures without collecting all of them, you can display the name side on the shelf, and or at least I'm assuming that's the purpose. And then if you are in fact collecting every single figure that McFarlane Toys does in the Color Tops, you have a number. Now, this is the new box that they got for the Walking Dead figures, and this is the old style. The images change, and I don't have an opened Abraham, but if you take a look at the face, you can tell right off the bat that the new Abraham is going to be the winner when it comes to detail. Detail will be the first thing we look at. Now, when it comes to this Abraham Ford, if you look at that likeness, I think that likeness is pretty damn incredible. The outfit is something I am not thrilled about at all. I think pretty much any outfit, you know, he's had a number of them. Pretty much any other one would have been better. I honestly would have taken his first appearance outfit, cover him with blood, have that button-down shirt on. I would have taken that in a heartbeat over this. But what are you going to do? Very nice likeness. Look at that again. This is incredible. He's actually one of my favorite likenesses when it comes to the face. There's him, Daryl, and Michonne are my top 3, and he's definitely battling it out for the #1 spot, because I love the likeness. They did a great job with the coloring on his hair and everything. And then you go down with his suit, and this is where it gets complicated, because there was about 8 figures for Abraham at the store, and this was the only one that I seen that did not have some type of defects with it. All the other ones had serious issues when it came to the paint. Look at his shoes down there. Great work on the detail. Serious issues when it came to the paint on the figures. There were, in the store, there was ones that had globs of paint on his neck. There was a ton of them. Almost every single one had problems with the white all over the vest here, his blue vest. It was just bad. There was some that was actually missing paint, or it was peeling off, like chipping off from his hands. This is the only figure that didn't have problems, and I wasn't going to get him because there's a little nub on his eye there, so it messes with the detail, but I'll take that nub any day over white all over his blue vest. So do yourself a favor if you display these on a shelf. Make sure you get a good look at them paint-wise. So this is him in his outfit from Season 6. You got some decent wrinkling. You got nice sculpt and paint on his shoes. And when it comes to his articulation, like I said before, he is the most articulated figure for The Walking Dead so far that McFarlane Toys has incorporated in this Color Top series. That being said, his head moves the best. Every other figure has that has the sculpt jutting out when you turn the head, so you can have him looking pretty much in any direction. That's fantastic, and I know that's a small thing, but it's pretty big when it comes to these Color Tops because of the way the other figures were sculpted. When it comes to his shoulders, you actually have really nice articulation that stays pretty hidden. Not completely. When I talk about it being hidden or covered up, you're not going to not see it. I'm saying it doesn't really distract you when you have him moving around. So his arm will go all the way around. It does move up. He has some incredible articulation in this arm. I mean, his arm bends as if it was a double, what do you call that, double joint or whatever here for other figures that I've seen bend their arm that well. Now, with that being said, it does create this little ball here. If you can tell, there's a ball here, and then this is, it's sculpted differently. It's not straight, it's at an angle, and I think that is great. I'm not saying that's a complaint. I think this ball is necessary to get this type of articulation, and that was perfect. What I am disappointed at is this hand here that's all crazy looking. It looks broken. It looks like he broke his damn hand, and they have it that way because it fits on his suit. Now, the reason why the hand, like how he has his hand on his hips, now the reason why it looks so ridiculous when it's not on his hips is actually because there's no give in his clothing. He's a statue. In real life, when you put your hands on your hips, your hands actually press in on your clothing, so they should have sculpted a little crease here because it's meant to go like this at all times. It's not meant to do anything else. So they should have sculpted a crease here. That way they could relax that thumb a bit and it doesn't look like he snapped his thumb in half sticking it up his ass or something, you know? What blows my mind the most is Daryl can come with a really cool zombie head, and that is frickin' awesome. He comes with an extra bazooka. That's cool, but I would have rather they just give an additional arm so I could just pop it on and have him be able to hold this since he is articulated. Yes, it's a small gripe, and I'm glad I only have a couple small gripes with Abraham. To be honest, with some of the shitty articulation here and the bad choice in the outfit, other than that, they did a fantastic job. Now, that being said, the problems with the articulation, we have some decent movement in his arms. This arm will not bend as good as the other one. It's not meant to. This arm, remember, it's only meant to go on his hip, so that's all it's meant to do. Now it bends like straight out. Actually, I've never straightened his arm out, so this is the first time I'm doing it too, but it actually straightens out pretty good. You got good articulation, you got a swivel there, you can spin his arm all the way around if you wanted to, but at the end of the day it's always going to find its home right there on his hip. Now I like it. I like that. Looks pretty good, right? This is where it gets shitty. There isn't any articulation in his waist whatsoever, and when it comes down to his knees, yes, you might say, hey, look at that, there's articulation in his knees. The only problem, and Todd McFarlane himself has discussed this at conventions, without the articulation doesn't work in just one spot, not usually. Like with an arm, that's fine, you know what I mean, if you have an elbow that's going up and down. Without a shoulder to help it move in different directions, the elbow articulation, the hand articulation, it's pointless. One piece of articulation doesn't help the figure overall. Same thing with the knees. You get articulation in the knees, and that's great. He can bend his knee, but there's no articulation at all in his waist or his ankles, really, to be honest, and because of that, the articulation in his knees, it's useless articulation. You can't use it at all. Now, I do think you can move his legs, yeah, but you see how ugly that looks if you try to move any of his legs. And then again, if you get the articulation, yeah, you're not doing much. So you do need some type of ab crunch and then articulation at the hips in order to get the most posable figure for your collection if you're into posing them. I just noticed that they sculpted a pocket in there. That's good though. As long as they do a fantastic job on the detail, that is all I'm going to ask of them at the moment. I do feel like they will be forced to make better articulation in the future. With that said, he comes with his assault rifle. Very good detail on the assault rifle. Some nice dry brushing there. This is my favorite for him to hold. I think that's the best choice. Rocket launcher has some very good detail as well. You have the handle that he holds. Here's another handle, and I believe this handle you can get Daryl to hold it with. Let me show you in a second. That's why Daryl's here. It's got really nice, can you see that? It's got really nice detail and work done on the weapons to give them that realistic look. So they did a fantastic job. What you could do is you could get Daryl and you could actually switch the... Be careful though, I'll say this again, be extremely careful with this wrist because that wrist is very weak. It's a problem area. You could get him holding, I believe it's the handle in the back, and then you kind of fit it into his position, something like that. So you can actually get Daryl to hold the RPG. I kind of feel like it's so difficult and clumsy to get him to hold it. I feel like if they meant for the fans to switch it around, they would have actually made Daryl, tweaked him a little bit more to be able to hold this and the crossbow and make it look realistic. I feel like that is a fail. That's one of those little touches where you know a company's on point. They really should have made him hold the rocket launcher. I mean, are they watching the same show? Abe found it, sure, but Daryl shot it both times. Anyway, with that being said, you can also pop the rocket launcher. Actually, that might not be it. I have him holding the handle, but you could probably use the other one. Maybe that'll rest a little better. It's up to you really if you want to have him holding that handle or the other one, but he will hold the rocket launcher. And another thing, if you want to hold the rocket launcher and the machine gun at his side, that is an option as well. He holds them pretty damn good, and you can get him in position to aim the gun if you're really... Well, shit. Drop the damn gun! His hand goes in nice there with the sculpt, and you can get his finger around the trigger. That is a nice little detail I enjoy. One of the complaints attached to this hand, they know that a collector's going to want to display him both holding this the way they have him with his hand on his hip, and they're also going to want to display Abraham Ford aiming his gun. They even advertise him aiming the gun in a little YouTube, video or post they made for Twitter. They advertise him holding that, similar to this. However, they don't make it for that. This thumb is just so silly, it keeps distracting me. If you have him holding a damn gun, that plus I have him holding it in a stupid way, but if you get him holding it, look at that thumb, it just... see that thumb? I am good with displaying my Abraham like so. That's it for me. I'm happy with that. Again, look at that face. Tell me that's not Michael Cutlets right there. That is fantastic. Suck these nuts. Or suck my nuts. Yeah, tell me that's not Abraham. They did a killer job doing the face for Abraham. I think they did a great job. And he does stand without the stand. Maybe his hand should be that way a little bit. I don't know. With that articulation, you can actually get him holding this gun in a few different positions. So that's actually a pretty cool bonus. Maybe you guys want Abraham to have Rick's gun. The choice is yours. What little choices they give you. I, for one, am going to stay pretty hopeful. I mean, the detail alone makes me very excited for some of the additional characters we're going to get coming up in the Color Top series. I am extremely disappointed, though, that we don't get any zombies. I would really hope that there is some way, shape, or form for McFarlane Toys to make some zombies, or somehow maybe pass that license on to somebody else. I mean, shit. And I know this is a stretch and this does not happen, but if they don't want to do the zombies, if NECA can just do the frickin' zombies, if they can work out some license agreement somehow, some way, some shape, some form, if McFarlane Toys isn't going to do it for the fans, I don't know why the hell somebody isn't doing it, you know what I mean? And I know that'll probably never happen in a million years because it's like you get all the license or none, I don't know. But it's just a hope of mine that we get more of the walkers, because I love the frickin' walkers, man, and that's disappointing as hell that they don't come out. And yes, I will say this right now, the walkers they made in the past sucked. Their best walkers were when they did not stuff shitty gimmicks in them. Their original walkers from the first series, I think it was like a frickin' wind-up toy that you would find in McDonald's. And on all the other walkers that came after that, they do these gimmicks. Like, it starts with a great idea, and then it gets gimmicky as shit. You know what's a bad gimmick? Perfect example of a bad gimmick. You have one of the most iconic walkers from the TV show. This is the RV walker with a little screwdriver in his head. It fell out, by the way, but that's besides the point. They give him this shit pose where you can't even move him to do anything with him, and then they slit his throat. Like, what? Fans want it being iconic. They don't need this head. This is horrible. But on top of the head thing, you have this body that doesn't move for shit. It's just one little statue. And yeah, look at that. With cuts in the legs, that is ass. You have an iconic walker, and if you would have just made him articulated with everything, you would have sold 10 times the amount. Why? Because fans are going to walker build. They're going to build a walker army. They don't want a fucking walker army where they're all standing here in the same shit pose. This fucking horrible idea. Good concept, make the mud walker, but the way they do it where he's always in this pose. Dumb. Genius and then dumb. Like, genius idea, dumb execution. He's always like that. Same thing with this punk. Here's one of the most iconic walkers from the comic book. They had a great starting point. Just make the walker from the comic book, give him articulation. You know what I'm saying? Let him move around some. No, they scalp him so his mohawk never stays on. You made an iconic walker with a fucking mohawk, and he can't even wear the damn thing? And then his arms, for whatever fucking reason, come off. I don't know, but that's stupid. You would have sold more if you would have stopped with the gimmicks. That's all I have to say. Here's Abraham Ford. I hope you enjoyed the review. Please hit that like button and let me know any complaints you might have, but also let me know some of the positives. What are some of the things that McFarlane Toys does and does exceptionally well that you absolutely love? Give us some positive down in that comment section. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.